Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh! Legit!
8 tornadoes tear through the Deep South in the first violent storm of the month.
It touched down! It touched down!
One tornado in particular grabs meteorologists' attention.
Coming now right into the Hattiesburg area.
A multiple vortex wedge that's headed straight for Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Population 47,000.
This thing pops out of the clouds, hits the ground, and then runs just east of the town center for 21 miles.
Oh my gosh.
As it barrels through a fairly populated area near a high school, by a hospital, there's a lot of potential for damage, injury, and death.
Jeff Rivette has lived near Hattiesburg his entire life.
I grew up a short distance from here. I graduated from USM here, got my master's degree here, and just love the city.
A part-time pastor, Jeff lives and works in the nearby town of Petal. But one weekend a month, he also serves in the National Guard.
I always had that sense of patriotism myself to serve. It's much like what I do as a pastor, but I do it in a professional uniform too.
This Sunday, Jeff's faith is about to be tested. Around 4 p.m., Jeff leaves drill, and a voice in his head redirects him through Hattiesburg instead.
I can't tell you it was an audible voice, but it was a strong impression. All it said was keep driving. I never go home that way, but I just kept driving north.
It's not long before the skies darken, and Jeff realizes what he's driving into.
I could literally see storm debris blowing up in the air, and I looked off to the right, and there it was. I knew at that point I was going to abandon my vehicle. I made a quick turn to the left and went in front of the Westminster Presbyterian Church.
The church is a historic Hattiesburg landmark, and its massive size also beckons Charlene Barefoot, a local housekeeper who's on her way home when the storm sets in.
As I sat at the red light, I looked to my left and could see stuff flying. I could see it was a tornado coming.
Charlene heads to the closest large structure for protection.
My mind was to go behind that church. I felt like I would be safe.
Arriving at the church, Charlene decides to stay put in her truck until she sees Jeff get out of his car.
I run around the front and I saw a lady sitting in a little white truck, and we both had this shocked look on our face. I continued to run on by and laid down behind the church as close to the wall as I could.
So I said, okay, I'll just do what he's doing, because I knew he knew what he was doing, you know.
Charlene makes her move to follow, but she's too late.
The pressure was so strong I couldn't even get to him. I couldn't do anything except lay there. I'd ask God to just shield me.
I remember feeling strong pressure, being almost held down. And then the wall came down around me.
The tornado tears apart the church, leaving gaping holes in the sides and roof. Bricks pummel the ground below, where Jeff and Charlene are hiding.
It may have lasted 15 seconds tops. It seemed like an eternity. I remember lifting my head up. The debris was within 6 inches from me, almost like it encapsulated me. But it did not land on me. You could say, well, he was just right next to the building. Well, okay. You can believe that if you want to, but I believe that it was just a divine occurrence.
Jeff is alive, miraculously, but his next thought is about the woman he saw flee from her truck.
There was just piles of brick everywhere.
Jeff doesn't know if she's dead or alive. Suddenly, there's movement.
I looked at my hands and I was so thankful. I was alive. I was so alive.
Charlene has survived, but is trapped.
She was almost in a cave because it was just covered up. Didn't know if she was injured or not.
Stunned but unharmed, Charlene realizes her truck is missing.
We walked over and found her truck. The whole wall of the Presbyterian church came down on it. She was just beside herself because that was her truck and it was flattened completely.
It's at that moment Charlene realizes just how close she came to death.
The front windshield all the way back was just smashed. I can remember telling him, I know God sent you to me because I would have never gotten out of my truck.
Then Charlene goes into shock as the trauma sets in. Jeff's military training kicks into gear.
I started asking her questions that would cause her to think. When she's thinking, she'd calm down. When she'd calm down, she could get outside of the last minute or two.
Jeff calls his wife, and they bring Charlene home while she waits for her family to come get her.
We went to their house, and he gave me some dry clothes and let me take a hot shower. And his wife gave me tomato soup. That's probably the first tomato soup I ever ate.
Over 70 people are injured in the tornado that day. Jeff and Charlene believe it was a divine hand that saved them.
I was at the right place at the right time. This is a hallmark in my life to look at and say, I know that God still uses people today for his work.
I'll always believe God sent him for a reason, and that was to save my life.
When Charlene ditches her truck to follow Jeff, common sense might say she's safer inside the cab than outside. But a demonstration at a scrapyard will reveal the best option isn't always so clear-cut.
If you're in a tornado, the question is whether or not you should be there outside of a car or be inside the car.
To recreate the collapse of the church on Charlene's truck, an industrial forklift and 1,000 pounds of cinder block will be used.
Dropping the cinder blocks at perhaps 20 feet high would produce about a 25-mile-an-hour impact.
A head-on crash test at 25 miles per hour, a mere seventh of the wind speed that hit Hattiesburg, sends a dummy into the windshield with 100 G's of force. But a truck roof is built to entirely different safety standards than the front.
Pickup trucks are built so that they can maintain a rollover. A rollover, you may have twice the body weight of the truck. In other words, you can roll 2 or 3 times, have a little bit of crush.
That means being inside of a truck might protect you against lighter airborne debris. But drop 1,000 pounds of brick on the roof, and the cab can turn into a death trap.
The trick is to be away from anything that can fall from height. Stay away from it.
In Charlene's case, both of her options were dangerous, but her primal instincts may have kicked in. Psychologist Dr. David Pincus will explore why Charlene made the decision she did.
There's a hardwired response that mammals have, and that is the tend and befriend response. Our tendency to huddle together because there's strength in numbers when we're under attack or in some other threatening situation.
The reaction is particularly strong in female mammals, since their brains release more oxytocin than men, a biological response that aids in childbirth.
The higher the oxytocin levels, the more likely that a human being is going to respond with tend and befriend. Charlene was almost pre-wired in a way. When she saw Jeff the soldier running from his vehicle, she had an impulse, not a decision, to get with Jeff, to huddle together.
But the fact that Jeff showed up at all is a miracle for which Charlene will be forever grateful.
I just thank God for Mr. Jeff. Every day I think about that. God sent that man to save my life.
Coming up, a party is